Eagles and the Bucs in Tampa Bay. For all the success the Eagles have had over this last 3 or so seasons, it's the Buccaneers that have spelled trouble for them time and again. Only game between unbeatens in Week 4. Baker trying to ball, 31-20. Irving lost a fumble previously, making up for it there. In a one-score game, facing 4th and 9. Baker completes it to K-Dot and taken down well short of the line to gain. Turnover on downs. This one popped up in the air after. Comeback falls short. Eagles hang on to win it 31-25. End of the game on a purposeful safety while punting. So Demons maybe not fully exercised, that they would have liked to put their foot on the pedal on the way home, but a win is a win, and they're hard to come by in the NFL. The Eagles having no such issue. 4-0 to start on the heels of a Super Bowl. Back in studio, Joe Muto alongside Lige Duzable. Duz, this is a team that, again, we talk about standard. We hold to a high one in Philadelphia. They get a win over a team that usually presents some sort of issues. What's your major takeaway from this latest victory?
I love how the secondary for the Eagles, we talk about Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, how they tackled in space. They were so physical in this game, especially to start off that first half. The Bucs could not move the ball anywhere up and down the field. So kudos to those guys as well. And you talked about it, the offense, right, being a little bit more inventive. Kevin Petula, that was the question going into this season, Moose. Like, he had never called plays before, and we saw him be extra conservative the first couple of weeks. By script last week, they had to open up the offense because they had a massive lead they had to try to come back and win. In this game, you saw a little bit more wrinkles. You saw the shovel passes to Dallas Goedert. And with Jalen Hurts, he didn't have, crazy, outrageous numbers, but efficient with the football, throwing it where he needs to throw. Todd Bowles likes to blitz. He knew exactly where to go on third down, and man coverage got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith going. So I love the balance on offense, and we're starting to see Kevin Petula getting rhythm, calling plays for his playmakers.
Let's stay on the topic of numbers, because Saquon Barkley's this season have been subdued relative to the 2,000-plus that we saw a season ago. 19 touches, or totes, for 43 yards on the ground specifically. A touchdown in this one. We saw a wrinkle off of the tush push. I want your thoughts there on some effective play calling, but also in the slow start, for lack of a better term, for Saquon this season.
I think a little bit has to do with how much he carried the ball last year. I think they're trying to take some carries off of him because the end goal is Super Bowl. You want the Saquon you saw throughout the playoffs. People tend to forget he had a chance to get the record, but they sat him in Week 18. But I think that boded well for him in regards to how well he played in that stretch run throughout the playoffs. So if you're looking at this and you're Nick Sirianni, you're like, we got to take some carries off of Saquon early, right? We want him to build back up like he did last year. That way, when we need to lean on him throughout the playoffs, we can do that.
22 of 40 for 289 and 2 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. Going to want to be further north of 50% completion. But my eyes go to the defensive side of the ball with this Buccaneers team. Where are their biggest inefficiencies right now? I know it's always going to be a tall task to slow down an offense that has as many options as the Eagles do, but where did they come up short in your eyes?
I think there was a combination, right? In crucial situations, situational football on third down, they struggled to get off the field at times. Todd Bowles sent some pressure, man coverage on the outside. We saw Jalen Hurts continuously be able to move the ball down the field. So when you look at it, like, box score wise, just like they didn't give up a ton of yards, but it's those situational football scenarios where you have to be able to get off the field and win. And then special teams, we talked about it earlier, right, Moose? Special teams is special for a reason. If you allow a team to score in a third phase, it's really hard to overcome that.
All right, back on the Eagles here for a moment, because if you're trying to dangle a carrot out in front of yourself, staying motivated, they're not a team that, from all that I saw preseason and what we've seen early in this season, that lacks any such carrot out in front of them. But they check a box here because this is a Tampa Bay team that I know Eagles fans sort of look at a little differently in the challenges they've presented before. How do you continue to do that if you are a team that executes at a championship level to find that new ghost to chase?
To me, it's the leaders in your locker room. And I think Jalen Hurts, coming into this season, talked about it, right? We're not even thinking about last year's Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni, whether he was telling the truth or not, Moose said, we're not going to watch when they put the banner out there opening week, right? We're on to this year. We want to win this year's Super Bowl. We're not thinking about last year. So I think when you look at the leadership in that locker room, when you have Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson, who is banged up right now, those guys have played at the highest of levels, and they know what it takes to get to another Super Bowl. So they're not thinking about what happened last year. They're focused on being the best version of this Eagles team to win another Super Bowl.
4 for 4 in attacking that task. Another win here on the road against the Tampa Bay Bucs. More to come on CBS Sports HQ. Taking a look at Jalen Hurts' past 18 games, started and finished, a perfect 18-0. How's 3,200, about 800 on the ground, 24 passing, another 21 on the ground. He's doing everything his team requires, and it keeps leading to victory.
As I was watching all of you guys reacting, I mean, Teddy, how much of a factor in the game is the temperature, do you believe?
It's a factor. You can't escape it no matter what you do during the week. Going from when I was in New England, going down to Miami, a jersey color, do we get down there early? It's nothing. It's about your mental toughness and execution in the heat. It's going to be hot, inevitable, and it's how they deal with it, especially in the fourth quarter.
You know, one thing, and Teddy's right, one thing that I'll tell these young viewers, one thing to prepare going into the heat, that means you put extra clothes on during the week of work so your body temperature, so you're able to control that.
Right.
But the temperature will be a factor.
Okay, so that's one of many interesting factors in this game. Another one, of course, has been Jalen Hurts. And Alex, I know that you spent some time going over Jalen's tape this week and the grading system that they have. Because here's a guy who, again, they haven't lost a game that he started since, or finished at least since this Tampa loss a year ago. What is it you saw when you went to do that?
Yeah, well, first off, it's just understanding Jalen, right? Like, this guy might still be one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and he just was the Super Bowl MVP, right? He never gets included in that elite conversation. Quarterbacks, yet all he does is beat them. And so, again, quarterbacks get graded, right? Every position group. But this is how the Philadelphia Eagles do it. A double plus for an exceptional. Obviously, a positive. You have a neutral for a handoff, and then a minus, and then a critical error. Those are the plays that lose you ball games. And the thing that's unique about Jalen is he makes more decisions than anybody in the NFL because they do not run traditional run game. He makes a decision or a read on every play. Here he blocks the defensive end with his read. This gives them numbers in the box. Boom, Saquon's on the safety, ripping off a 12-yard run. That's a plus, right? Positive play. There are no plays off for him. 4th and goal here. This is for the game. Hey, talk about critical moment, bottom of the 9th. Listen, everybody's covered except one. He sees the leverage, he sees the winner, and throws a strike. This right here, a game-winning play, that's a plus for everybody out there, right? This is what wins you games, delivering in the moment. But then this is the thing I think that makes him really, really special. Here they are earlier in the game. We saw this earlier. The running back and right tackle botched this multiple times. I mean, this is an NFL linebacker. He thinks he's picked up, then absolutely plows him over. Yeah, look at this again. I mean, full speed. I don't know how he holds on to this football. Ball security is unbelievable. I gave him a neutral for that, right? That is such good ball security. Here are his final grades. This guy made 6+ plays, multiple big touchdown throws. There aren't any neutrals. That's the defining thing here. You average this out, Brex, this guy's like 98% consistently. At least he was this last week. And I think that's the thing that's unique. Since this winning streak, right, 19-1, he's accounted for 43 touchdowns and 5 turnovers. That is the fewest turnovers in the NFL. You always have a chance to win with him playing.
The ultimate grade is wins and losses, right? No position affects wins and losses more than the quarterback position, and he's 19-1. But you're right, he's never in that conversation. And I just think it's just because of his appearance. You know, he's not 6'5". He doesn't have the bazooka. He's got everything. He does everything well. And the thing that kills me, when I look at this, you know, why do the Eagles win all these games? They remind me of those old New England Patriots that I couldn't stand. Why? Situational football. Situational football, and they find ways to win games differently each time. Block kicks, do whatever. But the situational football that I'm specifically talking about, red zone efficiency. 8 for 8 this year, Alex. 8 for 8.
Pretty good.
That's not all bad. How about this one, Moss? In short yardage situations, we all talk about the tush push and all that. 11 for 12. Like, that's what wins games. And so, to me, that's what separates him from Tampa. Can
I just jump in quickly here? We are looking at Baker Mayfield here now. If you were not with us earlier this morning, Baker Mayfield has an interest with his right bicep. An injury to the right bicep. He did not throw Wednesday or Thursday. Threw on Friday. We're watching the warm-up. Randy, what are you seeing?
He's not following all the way through. I know he's warming up. He's not stepping into it, and then his follow-through right there. It's not looking fluid right now.
I mean, this is tough.
That's a rope-a-dope. Come on, baby. I'm not going to doubt this guy is not going to play until I see those final inaccuracies. I know what you're talking about, what you just saw. I saw it too. But then just Baker Mayfield and what he goes through, and just if he's not able to play, of course that affects this game tremendously because these Eagles, I think this is set up for this. If Baker can play, they're set up because these Eagles, as much as respect as I have for them, this month for them has been so hard. I mean, in terms of being a defending world champion on a Thursday night, going and defend it, and your coach says, we're not even going to go out there and look at our banner be dropped. Okay, then the next week, you're going to defend it against the team you beat in the Super Bowl, and then the divisional championship game, and now you go to play a team in the Heat that's had your number. I don't know how they complete this because it's just emotionally draining, mentally draining, and they've been there for every single challenge. But this one here, this is going to be hard to get.
But if there's a team that seems to be built emotionally to handle this, right?
It's why I respect them so much. They, like Rex says, they just situationally find a way. If they have, Jalen comes out that second half, if this is what I got to do, then I'll do it. There's A.J. Brown, there's Dallas Goedert down the middle. They can do this type of stuff, but 4 weeks in a row, this type of emotional and mental and draining challenge, it wears on you.
You know, I want to rewind and talk about the game real quick. Alex, that last play you put up where the right tackle and Saquon Barkley couldn't figure out who had who, I think that's something you should be watching out for the game. Early in the show, I talk about Saquon's inability to pick up the linebacker blitz last week. I think Todd Bowles, as good as a defensive coordinator and head coach that he is, they will exploit that. And lastly, you had A.J. Brown up on the screen warming up. In the last 5 meetings, the Philadelphia Eagles 1-4 against the Tampa Bay Bucs. That one victory, A.J. Brown played in the game. The 4, he didn't play. So I think A.J. Brown will be a different factor in this game today. Get it to him early and get it to him often.
All right, so battle of